TIL that despite the fact that 75 of the world's tornadoes happen in the US, the deadliest tornadoes happen in Bangladesh. Of the 43 recorded tornadoes with at least 100 people killed, 20 of them happened in what is now Bangladesh, compared to 15 in the US. The real TIL is that a sudden tornado was the main reason Britain's assault on Washington failed in 1814. While Britain is technically considered the victor, their goals weren't properly realized because the freak tornado put out all the fires, which was the main reason they were there in the first place. And while it's true that Britain killed more Americans than the opposite, the reality is that more Brits were killed by the tornado than any number of people were killed by people combined to a tragic yet comical extent. That is completely misleading. The tornadoes aren't deadlier in Bangladesh. The quality of houses dramatically dropped there. Compared to modern housing in the US that is capable of handling F2 tornadoes and potentially F3, there are a lot of rickety shacks in the poorer neighborhoods of Bangladesh. Improve their housing and that number would definitely go down. If those stats are correct, I might relate it to agriculture, in North America in general, climate change as well. But if we don't properly replenish our soil, and have the right vegetation windbreaks, we have a breeding ground for not just tornadoes, but fires and flooding in all the times. Tornado Alley is 90 cornfields besides Oklahoma City and Dallas if you really want to count it, with a few other larger cities in there, so this makes sense. However, recently the Deep South, which is more populated, has become more of a tornado hotspot, so that's not good. Okay, but for the sake of transparent data, I'd like a death by tornadoes per year list. Cause what if Bangladesh has 20 tornadoes, each with over 100 deaths, and that's it? But the US has 15 tornadoes with over 100 deaths, but also 100 tornadoes, all with 99 deaths. Bangladesh, where I'm from, definitely does not have tornadoes as bad as the ones in the US. It's just our poor infrastructure. Lowlands with very high risk of flooding. Tornadoes in Bangladesh are usually accompanied by monsoon rain, and lack of shelter. Well, yeah. Tornadoes in the US happen most commonly in low-density regions. I don't think anywhere in Bangladesh is low density. It's like the worst earthquake in history happened in Mongolia and only like 7 people died because it was Mongolia. Probably because Bangladesh is small and densely populated. No basements. Most tornadoes happen in literal fields where no one lives, and when they do hit houses, townspeople in the Midwest have basements. Here's a video of a guy barely escaping an E5 tornado in Oklahoma. Read the YouTube comments, they are wild. Bangladesh does not have stronger tornadoes. The lower Ganges Valley is Little Tornado Alley. Only parts of North America have higher frequencies of tornadoes. Combined with local poverty and flimsy housing, this makes for high death tolls. I guess I never realized that tornadoes are mostly in America. It's on my bucket list to see one with my own eyes. However, not at the top of my list, nor one I particularly am striving toward. And frequent bad thing in dense poor areas is probably a bad combo. In the Midwest we gotta get that video for the tic-tacs just before hiding in our basement's bathroom. If you know, you know. Aside from obvious population differences, I'm sure it's more their homes are mostly sheet metal lindos that become flying guillotines in strong winds. Tornado Alley in the US is actually shifting eastward. And the uptick in reported tornadoes in the eastern portion of the country is greatly concerning. Well, yeah. The US puts an emphasis on basements, tornado drills, and tornado-susceptible areas. Whereas I assume Bangladesh probably doesn't. Poor, overpopulated, underdeveloped country has more preventable deaths to common causes than other countries. More on this shocking news at 11. Correlation does not equal causation. As mentioned, population density and less stringent building codes play a huge role. I went to Bangladesh once. Monsoons, floods, now this? Global warming used that country like a testing ground. My god, would that be like some dog flu killing more dogs at an Oak Hill shelter than in the wild Ladashis be bangin'. Higher population density compared to the vast cornfields of Kansas and poor infrastructure is my guess. I didn't even know tornadoes as strong as the one seen in the US was a thing outside of it. Where else? We didn't have tornadoes until they put in the roundabout. Due to differences in population density in the tornado's path, or to more intense, stronger tornadoes? That has more to do with Bangladesh being the most densely populated country in the world. Gather around children and hear tell of the magical, mystifying, population density. Population density, it's a thing. Tornado Alley in America is pretty sparsely populated. My high ass thought we had some killer tomato plants in Bangladesh for a minute there. Factor in wealth disparity and watch US citizens become smooth brains in real time. The street tornadoes as tomatoes and wonder if someone poisoned them or something. Lol. Isn't that just because Bangladesh has a lot more people than Oklahoma and Kansas? What causes the US to have 75 of the world's tornadoes? Geography essentially. If you've ever been to Bangladesh you'd understand why this makes perfect sense. I'll be honest, I read it as tomatoes throughout, and it still made sense somehow. I never thought about tornadoes being a US thing for the most part. Makes perfect sense really. They don't have double wides in Bangladesh, and maybe the buildings there are built even shittier than in the US. TIL land blessed by God allegedly is where 75 of tornadoes happen. Why 75 of tornadoes happen in US? What's the geological explanation? Of course I see this when I have a trip to Bangladesh upcoming. Scared face. Because there's no oversight for the way shit is built. Dense population, third world infrastructure would be why.